Howdy folks, Littlejohn in the brewery, or the distillery as it is today, and new version of the whiskey jar. And today I'm knocking out a simplified corn mash to do some bourbon or some American style whiskey for the purists who don't like it to be called bourbon because we're not in America and can't make bourbon as a result. But anyway, been interesting. There's been a little bit of a muddle up, but anyway, before we get into too much, cheers to all the patrons of Littlejohn, guys who get a little bit extra to support the channel and to help out and make sure things keep happening, and experiments and different ingredients and things are always getting used, and giving me the option to do more stuff on the channel than I would otherwise. So thank you guys very much. If you're interested in Patreon, have a link down the bottom. Have a look at it. See what's involved. What you get in return for a small contribution each month. Also, thank you to everyone who subscribes to the channel. That sort of helps as well, and hitting that like button helps big time as well. So if you're not subscribed, do so. Get notified when things are on. Don't miss anything. But brew day. Now, right now, I'm middle of the mash on today's mix, which is unusual. Normally I sit down and talk about ingredients and process and why I'm doing what I'm doing today, what we're looking at. Yeah, I did that, and realised, got partway through and realised I made a little bit of a mess up. Essentially, what I'm making today is a combination. Well, it's not a combination, but it's basically the accumulation of several different options I've worked with over recent time with corn mashing and corn washes. Starting from Uncle Jesse's Simple Sour Mash, the LJUSSM, and working through with doing full corn mashes, and then playing around with cracked corn and MLAs and conversions and all that sort of stuff, and combinations of different things, and working towards getting really looking for two outcomes. One is to find a relatively simple, easy way of creating a nice corn mash and getting a good corn wash for a bourbon, and two, getting a product in the end of that which is very drinkable. So that's where we've got to today, and that's been an accumulation of several different processes, which you can go back and look at the older whiskey jar videos, starting from the LJUSSM, which was originally where I started the whole whiskey jar thing. I said through those corn mashes. So I've progressed. Obviously I was using the ground, cracked corn initially with the LJUSSM. I started playing around with that, and that's, and you've seen it's bloody a pain in the butt. It's like an hour-long mashing and stirring and using enzymes and playing with this massive sludge, which is difficult to clean up, and it's not a lot of fun. But gets a superior result to the LJUSSM. And then I got hold of a bag of flake corn, sorry. So I bought myself the bag there, a while. And I bought that really more to use in beer. was playing around with corn ales and putting corn into lagers and stuff, and started coming up with, oh, hang on, I can use this in doing some whiskey. So I'd come up with this idea to do what I'm doing today, and for some reason I sat down this morning and I'm thinking, I've got a bag of cracked corn there, and I think I've connected the LJUSSM and the original UJSSM, so the original simple sour mash with what I was planning on doing, and just really blurred what I'd planned. So I sat down, I've got my water ready, and I sat down this morning and I've talked in depth about the reason what I was doing and how I was doing it in relation to the corn and blah blah blah. I mashed in some of my grain, which I was going to add to the cracked corn in the in my ferment bucket, which you would with a UJSSM. Righto. So we're up to 63 degrees. I'll pop the grain bag in. A couple of clips just to hold you in place. Now I do have the false bottom in place, so I'm not going to just lose the bag falling into the RV. So grain straight in. Quick mix. Not too much. It's nice and thin. So there's plenty of water in there compared to the mash. This pump is clear. Oh good, that smells bloody nice. Smells good already. Love the smell of malted grain in the morning. Get that on. Righto. And that's her. So just want to recirculate just to make sure we get through. Could just let this just sit and mash. Like if you're doing this just in a pot, just on the stove or on a burner, there's no need to recirculate. You can just let it sit. Soon I've got it. Might as well use it. So give this 40 minutes. I was talking about where I was just using the barley mash. I was mashing barley and rye just to add to the corn, just to try to add a little bit more flavour. And then I'm going to pull the corn out to top up, to put in the ferment bucket whilst the mash is happening, and realise that, idiot, you've got flake corn, you haven't got cracked corn. And we'll be using that fella. But anyway, get our corn. So this is actually flake corn I've got at the moment, so this is going to be a little bit different. Normally I'd use normally I use cracked corn. I was actually thinking cracked corn. I probably should mash this. I was thinking I had cracked corn, but I don't. Well, see, there you go. This is what happens when you don't write things down, when you don't actually cook. All these things that run through Littlejohn's head. about what you're going to do. It's just come to me. That was the original plan. This is the whole point. They upgraded was to use the flake maize and mash with it. And to make an actual wash without the corn remaining. So here we go. On the fly changes to the whole day. I need to run some quick calculations in my head. I've got, it's going to be a total, it's like 6 kilos of corn, 6 kilos of grain, more than 6 kilos. No, yes it is. 6.4 kilo of grain. It's a lot in the robo brew. Okay, rightio. So I'm thinking if I had another 6 or 7 litres to the robo brew, to get up to about 22 litres in there, I can add me 4 odd kilos of corn and just do a full volume brew on the bag bash basically. We probably need a bit of a top up, but and run this as a match. So methinks that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to throw some more water into this robo brew. And I'm going to add some corn as I go. Okay, so that's about the extra 7 litres of water. So we'll start getting this corn in here. So this one I'll start pushing the volume in there. Righto, so there's our 4.2 kilos of corn, which is now flake corn, not cracked corn. So this will change things a little bit. I'm not going to really need the amylase quite as much because the corn's going to mash and convert pretty well anyway, but there's a lot more corn than there is barley in there, and I'm not convinced I'm going to have enough diastatic power in that barley to convert that corn. I've done the corn beers and they've had a high percentage of corn and it's converted with no problem. I actually use this American ale malt Omnicorn ale, but it was more malt to corn. So I'm going to throw this amylase in here and let it work in with the mash. And I'm hoping that will help with make sure we get that conversion. And we'll find out down the track a little bit. So, other thing I'm now thinking is that I may not need anywhere near as much sugar as originally thought. Because with the original, the LJUSSM, and using the cracked corn, it's only sitting in the ferment. You're not actually extracting a lot of sugars from it, so that's why you use sugar. Obviously, you're not getting sugar from the corn. The corn's only there for flavour in that basic recipe. So in this process, I would be expecting to get a lot more sugars converted in the mash. Exactly what that's going to come out at, I don't know. So that is a bit of an unknown, but again, I think this was the whole thinking. And I really don't know what the bloody hell has got on in my head. But anyway, so I'm thinking now, I'm gonna run this. Still got 16 minutes to go. I might add an extra 10 minutes to this mash. I'm going to start it again. I'm going to start it back at we're going to do another 30 minutes from now. Restricted flow on the pump here. We've got an amount of gum from the corn. But that should settle with time. I hope. Let's see how that goes. Anyway. So let's catch up with what I've actually done. So, end of the day now, I've now got 22 litres of water in the Robo Brew. Running just a brew in a bag. Let me get this bloody bag of corn out of the way. It's getting in my way there just at the moment. I've got the brew in a bag initially because I was only mashing 2.2 kilos of barley and rye. I think, had I remembered initially, I probably would have just stuck the malt pipe in here. I was trying to avoid making more mess than I needed to. At the end of the day, this is working, so that's all good. So yeah, 22 litres of water in the Robo Brew. To that, I have added 4.2 kilos of slate corn. 1.4 kilos of base barley, which is a combination of American ale malt and some voodoo. Voodoo's from Voyager. It's just a standard pale ale malt. That's just a different one of their strains. It's nothing weird. So 1.4 kilo of ale malt and 800 grams of rye. Let me just check this ding on the phone. Good chance that's going to be my wife wanting a cup of tea. No, it's not. Delivery as you go. Oh, that's letting me know I've got grain coming. I don't normally me beer grain. But anyway, so got 4.2 kilo flat corn, 1.4 kilo of ale malt and 800 grams of rye. In here mashing 22 litres at 63 degrees on a slow recirculation, and I'm mashing that for basically 40 minutes. Which I will just do a 5-minute boil on, and I'll cover that and let it cool. We're going out for lunch today, going out the road, which I discussed on the previous video. Going up the road, about an hour and a half up the road, mineral pools. The daughter's out there camping. They've been out there camping for a few days, so we're going to go out there and catch up with them, have a barbecue lunch and a bit of a swim. I mean, the missus both on a day off work, so all good. So that'll cool down while we're gone, and when I get back later I'll be able to go straight into the fermenter. Now, what was going to be, planned to be a 5-minute boil has gotten a bit longer. I got caught up doing other stuff and shower and whatnot and brekkie, and so it's probably been now more like 40 minutes, and okay, so gravity's at 1040, so yes, it's lower than I would have liked, but so this is the joy of corn and the excess corn. So it's all good. Nothing, one big bag of white sugar is not going to fix, so I'm going to throw this in, mix it through, and basically turn the lid off. I'll put the cover on this and let it sit because we're not far off taking off for the day. So mix as we go, so that can just all on the bottom. That's it, that should be good. So that should bring gravity up to about 1060, maybe 1062 maybe. So the calculators tell me. Some calculators tell me that's a lot more, but anyway, we'll see. Not gonna really matter. So we've got plenty of flavour in that wort. So all is good. So I'm going to turn the heat off now, pop the lid on that and just let it sit while we're gone. Come back to Savo once it's cooled. Get it into the fermenter. Yeast is sitting here warming up, so it'll be ready to just drop on the Savo, and we should be underway. So I'll see you when I get back from my little outing. Rightio. Hit the afternoon, been out for the day. lunch, barbecue, swimming in the mineral pools. Come home. Mash is still a little too warm to pitch. I'm transferring at the moment. Got a hydro sample which is sitting on pretty much, let's say 1078. Look at the temperature, it's probably going to be closer to maybe 1074, 1076, which might even be sitting on 1080. But anyway, we'll I don't know, go a little bit later and see what she finishes up at. I'll stick that in the comment down the bottom, but obviously it was probably a little higher than the 1040 that I was measuring. I don't think I'm going to get near 40 points out of 3 kilos of sugar in 20 or thereabouts litres. So, but I'm happy with that outcome. Now, if that ferments down to somewhere around 1010, that's going to give me 70 points, so 9% alcohol, which is pretty good. It'll get me a good output. So I'm thinking I probably would have been rough maybe with just going 2 kilos of the sugar. Probably would have got me probably a range I probably would have been a bit happier with. It's probably a little high. Not that there's anything negative about having higher alcohol, but I probably overall I would have preferred getting more from the grain and the corn than from sugar. I really want to be able to pull them flavours out. So, but we can work it out on the next batch. I can pull that back a little bit. Maybe the secret is to actually finish the boil and stuff and actually get a proper reading. I've said it many times before. I've had problems where the refractometer aren't particularly accurate. When the temperatures are a bit higher, they're certainly a lot better when the temperatures are lower. If it's meant to be automatic correction, it does sort of seem when they're in that sort of 60, 60-ish range that does seem to be inconsistent. So, all good. So I'm just cooling a little bit of water down. I've got a jar in the fridge, just get it down a few more degrees, get it closer to ambient temp. I will stick the yeast onto that and just let that sit for, what's the time now? It's like 7:30 or something now. 7:30. I'll probably let that sit till about 10:30, about 3 hours. Just let it feed, build up a little bit, and then I'll dump that on. Everything should have sort of settled. Hopefully by then we'd settle to a more even sort of temperature all around, and then just let it run. So I've got 16 litres in the fermenter. There's at least probably 5 litres there. So look, I'm going to get 21. I can probably get another litre out of this, but tip it over and drain it a bit more. So again, I'll put that final volume down the bottom. But yeah, so for first run at Littlejohns upgraded simple sour mash, I'm really happy. Flake corn, barley, rye, a simple straight up mash, 40-minute mash. What in the end was about a 40-minute boil, and no cooling. I've just let it sit for the day. Easy transfer. Going to be a relatively simple cleanup. I've got to clean the Robo Brew and rinse the bag, and wash out 2 containers that I've ended up using. Had I been home, I would only use one. I've still got the grain bag sitting in the bucket, which I would have used the transfer had I already emptied the bag, but instead I'm just using the 20-litre stock pot. So minimal effort, and obviously a little bit more than doing the simple sour mash with just dropping the cracked corn and sugar, but not anywhere near the fucking around of corn mash. No stress, easy. Next time I will definitely use the malt pipe on the Robo Brew and do a proper, do a standard mash. Again, that was because of the bloody stuff up and thinking I had the cracked corn. So that was, again, that was my muddle, which made things a little bit more difficult. There's probably another half a litre to a litre of nice wort sitting in the bucket with the grain bag, from where it's continued to drain. So I definitely could have got a little more out first. So I'm pretty confident I probably could have got around that 22 litre mark, at what's going to be somewhere around 9, even 10.5%, depending on how much this ferments. But I certainly don't need to worry about putting dry enzyme in during the ferment. Just run with whatever the glucoamylase, the alpha amylase has done. Just run with that and see what it does. So all good. So once again, big shout out to Littlejohns patrons. Thanks guys. Your support is very much appreciated. If you're interested, hit the link down below. If you're a subscriber, thank you. If you're not, hit the button down there in the bottom. Ring the bell so you get notified. Hit the like button. You're watching this, hit the like button. All that stuff helps me out. Keeps the channel going, keeps us moving forward, playing around, doing things. But other than that, thanks for joining me. Hope this has been helpful and informative for some people. I know there's some people out there are going to will get a lot out of this particular mashing process. So look out, I've got a half-naked wife looking at me. Interesting. But anyway, so all done. Otherwise, any questions or comments, stick them down the bottom. But that's me. So until I see you again, brewing beer, drinking beer, talking beer, making spirits. Good brewing. Now I'm fermenting, and again I went into detail about this, but I'm fermenting with USA 5. A jar of the yeast off the over-pitched corn ale. So it's coming off beer made with corn already. So I don't have any whiskey yeast. I normally use American whiskey yeast on my bourbon. I thought I had enough left for one batch, but apparently I don't. Unless it could be hiding in the freezer somewhere. There's an awful lot of hops and stuff in there that have been piled on top of one another over Christmas. So, but I can't find it quickly. I don't want to freeze my fingers off. So I'm happy to use the USA 5. I've put some, well, a pack, 4 grams of alpha amylase into this as well, just to help with converting the corn. So it's just going to be a matter now of seeing how our gravity comes out at the end as to whether I need to add any sugar to this. I'm hoping not to. I'm hoping there'll be no need to do that. So that will depend on the final gravity. So I haven't really run the numbers, but it says 6 and a bit kilo of grain, so I would expect to get, you know, somewhere in the high 1050s, maybe even the 1060s. Which I think would be enough. That, yeah, even at, you know, high 1050s, it's going to get probably 48. It'll get us, should get me over 6% alcohol, which again is not a massive output, but will do me nicely, and I'm happy to work with that. And again, it's a number that commercially they work with. I'm pretty sure from watching several docos and things over the last little bit that most whiskey breweries run around 6.5% as their alcohol percent on their wash. So I'm pretty happy if I can get in that mark. I may need to add a little bit of sugar just to boost it, but we'll see. So that's it. So I'm going to let this run for now. I'll come back when we've got a boil on and when we can actually have a look at what the wash looks like colour wise and stuff, and sort of what sort of gravity we're looking at. Get a bit of an idea before we let it cool and get it happening later.